Okay. Hello, everyone at home, everyone in YouTube world. Bakal Katide here from PKUnshackled. I'm spending my Saturday afternoon, with two fine gentlemen. First one goes by the name of Ayabulela Mkenke, and he claims he's shy. I don't believe that one bit, but yeah, he claims he's shy. And I also have Lehlohonolo Mazindo, who's a chum of mine, an amazing guy who's doing so much work for the community, for couples, for broken people. So, gentlemen, welcome to PKUnshackled Live.
Thank you.
Now, without wasting time,
Thank you
so
for having us.
I'm gonna give you like I'm gonna give you like 5 minutes each to tell people who you are, right? And I'm gonna start with Lehlohonolo. Lehlohonolo, I know a lot of people know you, but it's always good to introduce yourself, and so that people know who Lehlohonolo is, and if they need your services, they can come to you. So, shoot, who is Lehlohonolo Mazindo?
Right, and let me first greet everybody and welcome you to the show. Yeah, this is Lehlohonolo Mazindo. I'm a married father of three, married to Pindi Mazindo. Loves me, and I'm the father of Chuharalelo, Tilwe, and Rory Sang. It's one boy and three girls. So I'm actually a registered counselor by profession, registered with Health Professionals Council of South Africa. I'm also a marriage therapist and mental health practitioner. Been in private practice for 11 years now. Is it 11 years? No, 12 years now. I've been practicing in the field of psychology, in the profession of psychology. It's 15 years now because I started as a professional in 2006. I started by working at FAMSA. Back then, we used to call it Family and Marriage Society of South Africa, but now they only call it Families South Africa. So my very first job, I was already doing marriage counseling and family programs and family therapy and training and a lot of things in the field of psychology. I worked for the Department of Social Development in Free State as community development supervisor there. I became a tutor for psychology in UNISA, I think 2012 2014. That's what I did part-time, and then while I was running my private practice in counseling and psychotherapy. And then I'm currently an educator in one of the I would say the top private institutions. It's a college of applied psychology, so I teach psychology there. What else? Yeah, I'm a minister if I want to. I'm a minister if I want to. If I really, really want to, I'm a minister. And then I'm also, yeah, I'm a very unlikely marriage counselor because I'm currently in my second marriage. So my first marriage failed and almost failed with my life. But you know what? Miraculously, I recovered from there, and I'm still in the business of restoring the dignity and sanctity of marriage with my wife, and I'm still helping people with their marriage. I'm a mental health activist as well, so I'm trying to advocate for people with mental health issues to receive the attention that they deserve and the help that they need. Okay, I'm also an author, a published author of two books. The first book it's called Together Till the End, a Blueprint for Successful Marriage. And then the second one is called Think or Shrink, Explore Your Mind to Expand Your Life. The first one, and second one, is what those are the two things that represent everything that I am about, because I'm all about the business of restoring marriages and helping people cope with mental health related issues. Anything else that you want to know about me, maybe?
No. That was a mouthful. I just realized something. In this forum, I'm the only one who's not an author. So we must change that. I was saying to Ayabulela, ukuthi I must write a book. So Ayabulela, when I Google your name, I get a story, right?
Yes.
But it doesn't say who Ayabulela is. So let us give you this opportunity to tell us and the viewers out there who Ayabulela is.
Okay. My name is Ayabulela Mkenke. I'm staying in Cape Town. I'm currently based in Cape Town, but I'm from Eastern Cape. Mthatha. I'm just a guy. I don't have kids. I don't have wife. I'm just myself. I came from the family of brothers and sisters who are 8 at home. My parents still alive, both of them. Yeah, the only thing that I can say that I'm a writer. I just published a book, 2000, I don't know, 2019 is a book is titled Bleeding Yet Bloodless. I wrote this book because I can say I wanted. Okay, I can say maybe I was. It's like a therapy for me because it's a book. It's about my difficulties and my challenges and how I conquered them. And
Okay.
yeah, it's a story of my
Okay.
life.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah. We'll get to the nitty gritties and the details of what happened. But one of the things that we do here at PKUnshackled is, you know, we speak our stories, if even the very bad ones, the very sad ones, the very painful ones, so that we heal people. You know, Tina bantu abamnyama, you know, especially us who are, you know, I'm not saying some people are not traditionalists, but some people don't care about tradition. But us who are more culturalists and traditionalists and whatnot, you know, when something traumatic happens, we always refer you to Inyanga or Isangoma or Umfundisi and you know, Abumalume or Gogo, who have never experienced what you're going through. And all they can say is Qina, windowed. Secondly, I use right. You understand?
Yeah.
And men are walking wounded. You know, yesterday it was International Men's Day. The amount of posts that I saw about men were very little, very little, very little, and that worried me. Uguti, you know, we're not talking enough. We're not talking enough. So, without further ado, by the way, Ayabulela, I ask very specific questions. So try and answer with specific answers, right?
Okay.
Yeah. Don't worry, I'm not gonna put you in a lot of pressure. I'm a nice guy. So before I start with you, Ayabulela, ndate Lehlohonolo. Let me ask you this, right?
Yes, sir.
According to your experience, how prevalent is sexual abuse towards men or against men?
Yeah, it's, and honestly speaking, it's more prevalent than we are willing to admit. Both adults and boys, but especially with boys. The world is full of people who are smiling in their faces, but they are tormented in their souls. Because back in the years when he was a boy and vulnerable, someone took advantage of the vulnerability of being a child and molested them sexually. Others, there was penetration involved, but others there was not even penetration involved, but it was sexual abuse. I have a personal story about that. It feels like something that's so small, but I remember very vividly when I was still a toddler. It was in my preschool years. I was sleeping with my uncle, and my uncle decided to play with my penis, and that changed the rest of my life. He didn't penetrate me, but he played with my penis. And then to me, it was sort of a pleasurable experience that was followed by guilt based on his reaction. And that was abuse enough to dictate the rest of my life. So it does not have to be penetration in the anus or anywhere else, but someone playing with your genitals or someone forcing you or tricking you into playing with the genitals. Because if you are a toddler or a child, you can't make an informed what to do and what not to do. So you are relying on the choices of the adult person who's trying to take advantage of you. And you don't understand what's happening. But as you grow older, it's only then that it makes sense I was molested. Another painful thing about child molestation, especially for boys, it's not that activity of people, boy, it's the silence of the significant others who could intervene and stop that. And they decide to sweep it under the carpet because they want to protect the reputation of their family. So they are more interested in the reputation of their family than the safety and interest and well being of a child who depends on them more than the adult who committed the act. So it happens more than we are with in short, the abuse of boys, especially by other boys, even by females, it happens more than we are to admit.
Because sorry to interject, because I want, when you mention your personal experience, there was another man involved, you understand. Now we live in a society that's very homophobic, you understand. Now society is very homophobic, Christianity is very homophobic, traditions are very homophobic. Now, my question is, how does a man a man who claims to be heterosexual derive pleasure from playing with a young boy's penis? And they say they don't have homosexual tendencies, or they don't have homosexual fantasies. You understand? My question is, how do you
Yeah,
add the two?
yes.
How do you add the two?
Yeah, I mean, sexual molestation is not about deriving sexual pleasure out of the act itself. It's about deriving sexual pleasure out of invading someone's safety space and privacy. Deriving pleasure out of hurting someone, inflicting pain upon someone. It's not it has nothing to do with sexual sexual preference, because it's not driven by a sexual desire. It is driven by a desire to make myself feel better by hating someone else, by making someone feel miserable. So it's like my way of dealing with my own issues and on my own pain, my own situation, and dealing with that, externalizing it to someone else so that I cause pain to that person. Um, um, yeah, it's all about the desire to cause pain and deriving pleasure, pain that someone gets. Same applies to heterosexual rape, like a man raping a woman. It's not about sexual pleasure out as in sexual pleasure per se. It's about deriving pleasure in exercising your dominance and affirming your self identity, that I can have things. I can take things that I want from people against their will, against their against their consent. That is what it's all about. That is what it boils down to. So it has nothing to do with sexual pleasure. It has something to do with something else. The void I'm trying to feel, the pain that I'm trying to inflict, the sense of dominance and control that I'm trying to feel.
So let me ask you this question: if you take away the element of sexual preference from the whole thing, why is it that men are still sodomized now? Older men, I'm not talking about kids now. Older men are still sodomized by other men, and how then do we say it's not an issue of sexual preference?
Right. People like are curious. Have to know how things. The same applies. Same reason why I would tell a woman that I love her, even though I don't, simply because I'm curious about how it feels to sleep with her. That curiosity still goes. Like, for example, I did try to explore with a woman. I know how it feels to sleep with a woman, and I did even try to sleep with a woman, maybe to penetrate her in the anus, so I know how it feels. And then that is the state of the anus. So I want to know how it feels if I can have sex with someone like who is a male like myself, and penetrate them, like the tightness, the hardness. It involves issues around curiosity. Yes, it's about also I have explored enough on this sexuality, so I'm curious about how it feels to express myself in this kind of curiosity, because it doesn't have to take a homosexual person to want to have sex with a heterosexual person. Just you it's a number of reasons. Some, like, let's look at people in prison. People who are in prison, they sodomize each other because they want to experience that sexual pleasure, but they also want to exercise the sense of dominance that I am the boy, do whatever it is that I please. So if we look at sex in isolation, we will never really understand sexual behavior, because the sexual behavior is not entirely sexually orientated. It fulfills other instincts or needs as well, in the wrong ways or the right way. Like like having sex with my wife, she calls it making love, because it serves more than the sexual desires. It serves emotional desires, psychological desires. And many people have broken psyche, they have broken souls, they have spirits, and they express the brokenness through their sexuality. And it has nothing to do with their sexual orientation. It's just that um, them exploring how it feels to sort of my they want to have all, they want to experience it all, to die and say there's nothing that you can experience when it comes to sex. So it's not necessarily a sexual orientation or gender issues. Sometimes it's just that curiosity or that willingness to explore that side of you.
Okay. Okay, no, I hear you, but I feel that this is a deeper discussion for another day. Now we are here for Ayabulela. Ayabulela, that I don't even know where to start, because let me ask you this: are you a born again Christian?
Not in. I was, but I'm no longer a Christian.
What happened?
I just hated church.
So
I don't know.
so let me ask you this question.
Because
Okay,
of
no, carry on.
what happened, then I told myself that church is just a lie. Pastors just a lie. So yeah, I told myself that if I want to, but I believe in God. If I want to pray, I pray in my own space. I don't go to church or whatsoever.
Okay. Now, obviously, the experience that you went through was very traumatic for you. But in your own words, can you please relate to us what happened? What led you to eventually write the book that you wrote? What experiences, or which experiences did you go through? And how did it all start? Let's start there. How did it all start?
Yeah, as you said, I was born a Christian. I love church, and I told myself that maybe one day, maybe I'll be a pastor. So from the young age, I was started to go to church at around 8 years. But yeah, I was focused. Then I came here in Cape Town. Then I was still at church. Then I came here. I didn't have a family at that time. Or I had family, but I came here to stay with the church members or whatsoever. Then I stay with this. I don't say it was not a pastor actually, but a guy who's on top at the church.
A church elder.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, thank you. We stayed together. Everything was fine because what made me to stay with him? I was told that I needed to be trained. You know, about. I was on that stage of being trained. You know, or maybe I'll be given duties at the church. You know, so I had to stay with him so that he can teach me on all those kind of things, you know. Him, and then yeah, everything was fine at first, uh, up until I was invited to his bed. Yeah, and then I didn't, see nothing. I didn't see nothing wrong with it. Yeah, then we slept together. Then yeah, something happened. I was the other night. Uh, I woke up and I was being touched and all those kind of things, you know. And then I was, yeah, something happened. Yeah, he had a sex with me. He actually forced himself on me. So yeah, it didn't just end that night. It happened another day, another day, another day, and then um, I was so confused. I don't know how to do. I don't know how to tell because this guy was trusted, and everybody was praying him at the church. So it was my word against it. You know. So this thing continue, and then but on me, I was not coping. I was not feeling well emotionally. I was, and then the other guy at church, I continued to go to church, but I was not feeling. I was not feeling myself. I don't know how to explain. I would go to church, but when I was there, was another place. My mind was another place. But yeah, I happened to hear that it was not only me. I was not the only victim. You know, the other guy, I think he came to me and said to me, how are you? He said, how are you? I said, I'm fine. He said, is this man that you are staying with, is he treating you well? Are you fine with him? And then I started to question myself, why is he asking me this kind of question? And I said, why are you asking me? He said, don't tell anyone, but I heard that he raped a guy here in the church, and the elders know that he raped the guy, but they just rape it around. They didn't open the case or what, or I don't know. But after he told me that, we were still in church that day. After he told me that, I asked myself, oh, those people, they know when they say must stay with this guy, because this thing, it happened a long time, but still they say I must stay with him. So they know that he had a history with raping or sleeping with another small boys. And then I told myself, you know what, let me leave this thing, because while I was still there, I wanted to tell someone, but I was still thinking how I'm going to tell this. I was creating something, but now when that guy told me this story, I said to myself, you know what, let me leave this and go home. But it didn't happen. I end up being someone else. I don't know why. I end up doing drugs, drinking like nobody else. I just left there. I didn't tell anyone. I just left, and I found myself on the streets. That the whole thing, it just it hit me in so many ways, like mentally. I don't want to blame drugs, because I did do drugs, but mentally I was not fine. I was not feeling well, and I ended up in hospital, and I got sick at some point, and I just found out that I was positive. I don't know why. I don't know. I don't want to say, but what the reason why I said he infected me, because I never sleep with anyone except him. So yeah, so much happened, and then after that I found out that I was positive, and then everything just
Okay, I Bulal, let me stop you there for a second. You've told us a lot. Let me give you a few seconds to collect yourself, and then I'll bring Ndade Mazindo. Ndade Lehlohonolo, So
Yes, sir.
here is Ayabulela finds himself, or he's just been through this traumatic experience. Uh, there's loads of emotions. So one of them is shame, one of them is anger, one of them is loneliness. And I'm sure at some point, Ayabulela, you had suicidal thoughts because when life overwhelms you, when you go through so much all at once, all you want to do is end everything. So my
Yeah,
question that yeah, sorry, yeah, carry on.
no, about that suicidal thoughts. You know, I just wanted to add in. I did ended up in psychiatric hospital for some months, I think 6 months or so, and I'm still I'm still taking medication of depression. I, I don't know. I'm not. I told myself that I'm fine. I will tell you that I'm fine today, but tomorrow I'm not fine because sometimes I'll look this and say to myself, why I'm taking this medication? There's so much medication that I'm taking. I have to take medication for depression. I have to take medication for being positive. And uh, always when I'm taking that medication, it reminds me why I'm at to this situation right now.
Hmm.
Uh, yeah, I can smile and you can see that I'm smiling, but deep down I'm not feeling well.
Hmm.
And,
So let me bring in Utatu Mazindo. Utatu Mazindo. And and this is one of the reasons that I asked you to be part of this because I'm not a health expert. I've never experienced what Ayabulela has. Now, from listening to Ayabulela's story, what is your assessment and what is your what's the word? What can you say? What can you add?
Yeah, this is a very, very unfortunate situation. And as I've already explained it, one of the most painful things about this is people who are letting it happen because they know about it and they don't do anything about it because they are concerned about themselves and their reputation. But then on the other side, there is Ayabulela who is broken and bruised and destroyed so badly by the act. Number one, the act itself of being sodomized or being raped, let me say that because it applies to both genders. It rips you off your sense of identity. It rips you off your sense of meaning. It rips you off the sense of purpose. You don't even know why you exist, and sometimes it causes you to blame yourself for allowing it to happen. And it has a lot of things: self-hate, self-blame, hatred against the church, against pastors, against your own parents, because if they protected you enough, you wouldn't be in the hands, or you wouldn't end up in the hands of a person who would not only molest you, but would leave you with HIV for the rest of your life. Two things that will remind you what happened to you. Like, he has to live with this every day. And I need to address people who actually are carrying out such acts to people who are vulnerable and helpless against them. It's true that you get your sense of control and your sense of dominance, because that's one of the reasons why men turn on other men. That, okay, a woman as is weak anyway, and then it's not to me if I can force myself to a woman because I'm naturally physically stronger. But if I can force myself to another man, it sort of establishes my sense of dominance. But look at what it is doing to people who were innocent when they met you, and how much it changes their lives. He said he ended up in the streets, he ended up doing drugs, he ended up in the mental institution for 6 months. He's now on antidepressants for as long as he lives, and he is on 8 all this thing have happened if he had not gone to church. So we would look at him and judge him for not wanting to be a Christian anymore. But what I learned from him, it's not necessarily that he doesn't want to be associated as a Christian. He doesn't want to be associated with a church and the born again Christians, because that is where uh, he experienced the opposite of what he would have expected or what he was expecting, and what he was hated. And then tell what in this world will make this man go back to church, where and every time he is in church and he thinks that I have to take my ARVs, and it's all because I came to church. That is painful, that is traumatic. And the fact that you're still my brother, and the fact that you are still adhering to your medication, both antidepressants and ARVs, those are hard medications to take. Trust me, I know, and I'm taking one of them, and it's antidepressants myself, and I know it's not easy. And I have a few people who are very close to me who are taking ARVs, and I see how much they're suffering. To take both at once, it shows an incredible amount of strength and resilience in you. The fact that you live about terrible experience, and you have not given yourself to the lives in the streets and started, because other people like deal with this by molesting others, raping others, um, uh, 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 violating others just as much as I've been violated. Maybe I will feel better. And they try to heal by doing that. But the road that you chose into heal is very much commendable, is very much admirable. And for you that you wrote that book, it means many people are going to be helped who were going to have the experience. And that we need to preach this gospel, that people who let it happen are as guilty as people who make it happen, and we shouldn't back down on that, because what you suffered more is not because of someone who make you make it happen. Yes, it is partly so, but why did people know about it and let it happen, especially when you were too vulnerable to stand up against yourself? So that breaks a person completely. I'm not sure. I just want to know if you have any prospects of wanting to get married. Do you think about that? Because that affects it. Remember, we were having a topic the last time, Makawi, about why marriages fail before they start, and this is one of the reasons. I mean, that man set Ayabulela up for failure in his marriage, and because now, how do you become a husband with a bruised ego, a bruised sense of identity? Anything that that makes you a man has been violated, and what are you left as? And that's why sometimes it hurts, sometimes he smiles, like now in the crazy eight. Sometimes it's very painful, sometimes it's I'm okay and I don't know, like you are like just moving in that crazy eight. It is not one thing, it's the other. So we really need to pause as the nation, and as the continent, and look into the issues of sexual molestation, not only in girls but in boys as well, because we are creating the generation that is bleeding, that is hurting, that is wounded, and everyone who's they bleed upon people who didn't hurt them. They hurt other people and they wound other people as well. So it's a very complex situation, and we have to really dissect it, but bring it to the of the communities.
Mm. Sorry to interject in that. You know, the reality is, and this I'm gonna scare you guys. What happened to Ayabulela is very, very prevalent. That I'm doing research on um, such incidences in the rural Eastern Cape, and what I found out is that this is prevalent. There's something called ukunqunyuliswa inkosi or something like that. I thought, and apparently that's something that's normal. You understand? It's acceptable. It's dirty. No one wants to talk about it. But then to some people in the hierarchy of leadership, whether in the church or in the traditional household, it is acceptable. Now, are we saying that we are going to keep quiet about it? No, we're not. No, we must speak about this. Now, Ayabulela, so you've told us your story, and I know that it's still a journey. What I would like, gentlemen, and Dadil Shonol, I know that you're a busy man, but outside of this forum, I would like you and Ayabulela to catch up, once in a while, just to see how Ayabulela, after this interview, will catch up and just understand each other's worlds, and how we can help better each other and become better men. Ubabul Shonolo said that maybe one of the prospects that you have is to get married, but then you're already at a very big disadvantage, a very big disadvantage, in the sense that there's massive trauma in your life. Massive trauma. That's why, let me ask you this question, Ayabulel. Are you planning to get married? Do you want to get married?
I don't know. No.
And
No.
the reason is?
I don't want to. I don't want to.
Is it because of what happened to you, or other reasons?
I can say I don't want to explain myself. I'm not even in a relationship right now, so it's because I don't want to explain. I'm fine.
Okay.
I even maybe I think I'm not even interested. I can say that. Maybe I'm asexual. I don't know.
No, I think we must appreciate. I mean, me and Babu Mazindo are married, né? But we must appreciate your journey. When I oh, I see he's gone for. When I speak of marriage, I'm not saying you should get married, but it's a question. Listen, if you don't want to get married, don't get married. It's your choice. But I'm trying to understand and help somebody out there who's gone through something similar or worse, to say that when you decide that you don't want to get married, it's an okay decision. But culture, kunanto bathi culture. Hey, emakhaya bathi uthatha nini? Abazukulu yonke le nyaka. And you feel the pressure. You definitely feel the pressure. But what's important is, it's your decision, it's your life, and you're the one who's gone through all these things. What we can do is plug into your life and see where we can help. Like I was saying, I would like you to continue having a discussion with Ubaba, just a sec. Ubaba, Ubaba, Umazindo. Just to, and help you through your journey. I mean, he's a top guy at what he does. Now, when you wrote the book, how difficult was it to relive those moments?
Yeah, it was not easy at all. It took me, I think, 4 years. 4 years. I wrote, I destroy, I wrote, I destroy. And then, and writing, I think it really helped me. Writing really helped me. For me, I was not writing. I had no intentions to publish, but for me, it was just a therapy. But someone advised me to publish it. But I think also publishing, it also helped me because I get so many positive feedbacks from people, especially I was not expecting a positive feedback, especially from men, because I got a feedback from men. It's more special, and they also the men are broken also, and some of them they went through what I went through, and yeah, I think it's one of the reasons I'm still standing. It's because of their feedback. Now, I was expecting people to criticize me, to say things about me, but funny they didn't. Instead, they once they read my book, they came back to me and say, "Wow, dude, you're so brave. We admire your courage and for speaking out." Men, they don't want to speak. What I realized that men are broken, but they don't want to stand up and speak. So, yeah,
Now, what's the name of your book again?
it's a bleeding yet bloodless, is it?
Ah, there's the book. Now, where can people find a copy of your book?
Uh, for now, it's available from me. If someone want to book, I,
Yeah. Yeah, they can get in touch with me and then I'll connect them with you.
yeah,
Or yeah, I think that's much easier. But it's a book that worth reading, whether you have gone through the experience, whether you haven't. It's a book worth reading in the sense that you will appreciate what people go through and understand how to help. And this is the shocking thing. And maybe Tate Mazindo, you'll support me on this. Almost in every family, there's a sexual uh, abuse or harassment existence. Almost every family, it happens. It happens, and families rapid. As born again Christians, we're the biggest culprit. We hide these things. We we hide them so well. We hide them with prayer. We hide them with fasting. We hide them with tongues and not only the church but even traditional families. Um, Now imagine if the experience happened to me. I'm pretty sure that my parents would hide it. I'm pretty sure that Pastor Katide and Me Katide would say, "No, Makawe, we are not even them. The church elders, the compadres, they will come to me and say, "Boss, we know what happened. Uh, you must take into consideration your father's name, your mother's name, and don't say anything. But even if you do, don't point out who the culprit is." You understand? So we still have far to go as society. And me, my brother, Ayabulela, I applaud you. I applaud you for number one, being alive. I know it's hard. I know it's hard. With all the stuff that I have gone through in my life, there's many instances where I wanted to kill myself. you know. And when you say amadoda ayasogola, amadoda atulile, men are silent, men are hurting, men are broken. We say nothing, even to our wives, even to our family members. We say nothing. We keep quiet, and that makes us angry people. Am I wrong in saying that, Mazindo? When you keep quiet and suppress your emotions, suppress the hurt, whatever you're going through, you become angry. You become this And that when you explode, oh my word, fireworks. Am I wrong? Yeah, Dr. Mazindo, we can't hear you. Unmute. It's all right.
Right.
Okay.
I actually wanted to, yeah, I was just actually wanted to get the background noise. Yes, I'm saying I completely agree with you. Because men are expected to be a man about things that are happening to them that they cannot handle. And then now you wonder, but why is it that I cannot handle so much pain? And instead of questioning what people are expecting about you and what they are saying about you, question yourself that because I cannot handle this, I must be anything of something that is far less than a man. And that is a sad situation. And I like the title of the book because it expresses exactly what men are going through. Bleeding but bloodless. So if I'm telling you, if I tell you as a man that you know what, I'm bleeding, you're not going to believe me. Why? Because I'm bloodless. You don't see the blood that I'm talking about. And then that like makes us unable to get people's attention to say, even our wives, if I can say to my wife, you know what, I'm bleeding, she might not believe me. She might say, no, you're not bleeding because you're bloodless. I don't see any trace in that you say makes you bleed. Because sometimes we are not even aware of why we are so angry, why we are so sad, why we are so depressed, why we have lost interest in life, why we have so much resentment. We can't explain it. We don't know where it comes from because there's so much that happened to us. Supposed to be a man about it, and it piled up in our souls, in our emotions, in our mind, in our minds, in our psyche, in our spirit. And then now we can't even explain ourselves. We can't even convince people that something is wrong with us. That's why the statistics of men who kill themselves is twice as much as women who kill themselves, because women are allowed to express their pain, but men are expected to die in silence. And that, I think, that is why we need this book. And thank you for being alive, and thank you for writing this book, and thank you for taking medication, because that means you live long enough to write more books, to pass the message, to teach more people, to educate more people, to spread the message. And you spread it as someone who experienced it, and we will support you and spread it from a national perspective until we win this war. It's only just the beginning, but a drop in the ocean is better than nothing at all.
Okay. So, Ayabulela, thank you very much for your time, and thank you for telling us your story. I'm sure that me and you will establish a brotherhood. I am very big on brotherhood. You understand? I don't like this thing of friends. You know, if I come to Cape Town or you come this side, I'm not gonna invite you to go to Konga and go drink expensive bottles of alcohol. No, no, no. We'll sit and talk about us as men. How do we better each other? You know, how do we make the world bearable for the offspring, for the females, for any other men? How do we become better species? So thank you for your time, and thank you for your fellowship, brother. Like, you know, it's important that at least there's still a core of prayer in your life. And I'm not prescriptive. You know, if ushisimpepo and you know you call to umvelingange or gamaku, as long as it works for you, I've stopped being prescriptive. And I know that Christians will be will not be happy with me for saying this. So whatever gives you peace, I'm happy that you're on that journey. But what's important is that write the second book. You were saying earlier on that you're busy with the second book. Write that second book. That second book will be the second phase of your healing, which is what we need. We need you to be the complete healing, if it can happen, but a better form of healing so that we learn. You understand? Now, I can say to my son, this story, this incident happened to Uncle Ayabulela. You understand? These are the lessons that we've learned as men, and my job is to, you know what? And I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say that as bluntly as possible. I am not gonna teach my son bullshit. This nonsense of saying indoda cleaner. I'm not gonna teach my son that nonsense. I'm gonna teach my son to be the best version of him he'll ever be. This bravado macho man thing that the world has created is destroying us. It's hurting us more than it's making us better people. So thank you very much, Ayabulela. May the universe align happiness towards you. You know, and I know we'll have a discussion in a year's time. You'd be happy in a relationship, and you'd be like, "Hey, yeah, hey, but what's the because naturally, no, this is a fact. Naturally, we are tailored for companionship. It's not something that we want it. Yeah, we need it so that the next part of your life, of your development, of your growth, pans out like this. But thank you very much for your time. What would you like to say in closing in a minute?
I would like to say to men, especially to men, they must never ever allow any obstacles to defeat them, whatever it is. And yeah, they must put the past behind them and allow God to put them to allow God to lead them. Yeah, and they must be brave to speak out.
Okay.
Not afraid. Yeah.
Okay, so men must be brave. So yeah, when I come to Cape Town, you're the first person I'm going to call. As a matter of fact, when you come up, we must make time. We must make my time. Dr. Mazindo, what would you like to say in closing in 1 minute?
I want to address three things, and the first person that I want to address is Ayabulela. It's good that you're writing a book, and one other advice that I want to give to you is it's part of bibliotherapy, like read people who have gone through experience that is similar to yours. You'd be surprised, and they are making it. It's like celebrities. Like when I was going through a divorce and I was hopeless. I had to study, learn about people who are where I want to be and they have gone through a divorce. And I was so surprised how many people have gone through divorce and they are making it. One of the people is Dr. Phil. Dr. Phil is married for more than 40 years now. But that is to the second wife, and he's making a difference. Steve Harvey, the third wife, and he's powerful relationship expert. Tony Robbins, the second wife, is powerful. It like that gave me something to look forward to. That you know what, divorce is not the end of the world. So you go just learn about those people like that, people who have been through what you are going through, but they are making it. Like for an example, that will show that you know what, struggles will not limit you. Your struggles actually are your story. Your struggle is your story, and your story is someone else's survival guide. And then I want to say to men out there, guys, cry. Be man enough to cry. Be man enough to be in touch with your emotions. Be man enough to express your emotions in a safe, and be a man enough to connect to the soft side of you, because we have it as men.
Yeah.
And whatever it is that we've experienced, guys, don't let it end you, because it's really not the end of the world. That on the other side.
Okay. I see we've lost Ayabulela, but I'm sure he said his piece. But Daddy, thank you very much for your time. Hopefully, through this, we'll save a lot of lives, save a lot of marriages, save a lot of families, and save a lot of men. So yeah, thank you, Dad. Thank you, Dad. We'll catch up. We'll catch up later on. But thank you very much, guys. It was a pleasure having you. And Dad Mazindo, please call Ayabulela.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, most definitely. We will definitely be in touch.
All right, sir.
And thank you very much for having us, Makawe. Keep well and be good.
No, you be good. Take your wife out for lunch.
Sounds like a